This music news. Woke up this morning feeling.
Okay, so tell me, how did they discover you? You were 15.
Oh, how did they discover me? Well, it wasn't really a discovery. What happened, I was in a band that morphed into another band, and after 2 years we'd got a reputation as being, they knew who we were, but they didn't know what we were called, because we kept changing our names, because I was in the Cyclones, which turned into the Heartbeats, that turned into the Hermits, and we had a kind of following. I remember at the beginning we had like 2 girls, Margaret and Pam, who used to come to every show, and then there were 4 girls, and then there were 10 girls, and then one day we got signed by a label, and then we had 250 girls at every show.
So they just spotted you, the labels found you.
You know, it didn't work like that. What happened was, in order to get a record deal, you had to work lots of concerts, and people had to see you and like you. I mean, why make a record with somebody?
You had to have a following.
Exactly. And I think it's gone back to that now. I think now they don't just, they either sign people who don't exist and make a record around their face, or that, but in those days what happened was, if you think about it, the Beatles and the Stones and Herman, Hermits and all those people, we were totally self-contained. You know, everything that we needed for a concert we could get into one truck and all show up together, and then it got all out of control. I mean, look, just your equipment for this show, you got more equipment than Herman's Hermits had when we started.
Well, that's what they said about the space shuttle. Your computers at home now are more powerful than the first computers they used, NASA first used.
Yeah, we had a very funny little Bedford Dormobile, and we got all the amplifiers and the drum kit and all the band and a driver and all the suits all in one van. And it was a small van.
Wow.
So the guys in the van were like this. And I was the driver because I was only 15 and I wasn't supposed to drive, but I was the only one who didn't drink, so they let me drive.
Wow, that's amazing. No, so where was the first time you heard yourself on the radio? Do you remember?
Yeah, I was in the Beachcomber Club in Bolton, and we were in the kitchen. The club was downstairs in the basement, and we were in the kitchen getting ready for the show. And it was 5:30, and a disc jockey came on the radio that was on in the kitchen of the place where we were changing, and he said, here's a new record by a new group called Herman's Hermits. I'm into something good. And that's it, we'd made it. Because until then, all you want to do is hear yourself on the radio, because everybody that you know who's famous is on the radio.
Of course.
You know, it wasn't, everybody did gigs. You know, we used to follow the same, we followed the same tours as everybody. You know, we'd go, Thursday night would be us, and Friday night would be the Beatles, and Saturday night would be the Kinks, and Sunday night would be the Rolling Stones, and Monday night would be the, you know, we just followed around all the same people, and we'd all run into each other at transport cafes, and everybody knew each other, because England is a very small scene. I mean, England makes Texas look like a country. You know, England fits into Iowa.
Wow.
You know, it's just it's a small little country, so everybody kind of, all the bands kind of knew each other. Really? We didn't necessarily like each other's music, but at least we liked each other.
Interesting.
You know,
and that brought originality too, because you didn't try to really copy each other.
Well, nobody was the same. There weren't 2 English bands that were the same. The Kinks weren't like the Stones, and the Stones weren't like the Beatles, and the Beatles weren't like Herman's Hermits. So we all just sort of wandered around in our own air, our own oxygen, and you couldn't get a record deal if you made a record that sounded like the Beatles. Why would anybody sign that?
Of course,
the Beatles.
That's already been done.
Yeah. So we had a totally unique thing. We did odd songs, like Mrs. Brown Who Got a Lovely Daughter was a very odd song, and we stayed away from that, what would be called rhythm and blues. Even though we could have done that, we chose to go very pop.
You know, we were in a restaurant the other day, and I don't know if you remember 77 WABC in New York City, Cousin Brucey.
Yeah.
Yeah, he still has a radio show.
Yeah, I'm on right before him.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I got a radio show on Sirius XM that goes on right before him.
Oh, when is that?
It's on Saturday afternoon. I don't know what time it is in Texas, but I think it's 2 to 5 or 5 to 8.
Saturday afternoon, and you're on right before him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's a lovely guy.
Oh, he is. And
He said, Cousin Bruce, I call him Bruce Morrow.
Bruce Morrow. That's
That's what he was
who
at
he is.
ABC.
Of course
yeah.
it is.
It's with ABC Good Guys.
77 WABC.
Yeah, I remember that. I have a T-shirt on one of my albums.
I used to take 2 transistor radios when I listened to you as a kid. And I had
Stereo.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Exactly, I know what you're talking
Okay,
about.
we're not going to keep you, sir, but I just got another question for you. You got the opportunity to tour with Davy Jones?
Many times, yeah.
Oh, many times.
Yeah, Davy and I go back to the very beginning. You know, I played his manager on a TV show, My Two Dads. I mean, we go back for 100, you know,
Did
since
you
the
know
beginning.
each other from England?
Well, no, we didn't know each other until he was in the Monkees. That's when I first met them. And it was very funny because I was with the Beatles and we were doing this show in London, and the Monkees were kind of the big new pop band. And of course the Beatles had once been that brand new pop band, and Herman had been. So me and a couple of the Beatles went over to basically to have a look at the Monkees, right? And we go into the dressing room, and I remember Davy Jones and Mickey Dolenz were absolutely delightful. They were clearly honoured to be in the presence of the Beatles, you know.
Of course.
The other two were a bit nonchalant, I thought. So we weren't that impressed. But Davy, I said, you know, I'll never forget it. I go, you know, that was really good. You really came. Wow, I was so pleased to meet you, man. I got all your, you know, that kind of stuff, which you're supposed to do when you meet legendary people.
Yeah.
So he was nice, and of course, I knew him right up until we did a gig a couple of weeks before he died.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he just, you know, he wasn't taking care of himself.
Oh.
You know, it's a doctor's trip, isn't it, that, when you've got arrhythmia and things like that.
Yeah.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, it is.
But you know, somebody must have wanted him somewhere else.
Well, tonight, I guess the question I wasn't even going to ask you tonight was a special night for you.
Well, it was because my daughter did her first ever concert, and I thought she was really good. The first time she's ever done a whole set. She's been on stage and done one song with me in Chicago a couple of years ago, but she's never done like with her own band and her own thing, so she was good, and I was very pleased she got a good reaction.
She has a voice of an angel.
Is that right?
Oh, I mean, you know, we shoot 200 bands a year, and it takes a lot for somebody to stand up. And I'm not saying that because she's sitting here. No, she really has a beautiful voice.
I think so, but you know, it's mine, so I can't really have a clear view of it. Just not being able to look at it clearly. You know, when she plays me a song, I like the song, but I can't say that's a hit, and you know, I can't do that anymore. When it's your own family, you can't get involved. My mum and dad never came anywhere near my song choices or anything. It would have been ludicrous. And Natalie said to me when she was about 15, she goes, so I said, why don't you try this? She said, do you think Paul McCartney's mum went to Abbey Road and said, put some trombones on it? And I go, oh, okay then.
Now, do you think it's because of the family thing, being so close, or because of the age gap?
Family thing. You know, when you love somebody in love rather than just like them as a band, then you can't have you can't be objective about what they do, anything they do, because everything they do is so wonderful, and because you love them.
Yeah, that does blur the lines.
Amazingly enough, some people can make really shitty records, but their fans love them, that they still buy them, but not many.
We see it here in Texas, let me tell you.
Yeah.
That's amazing, yeah, they do, but those are usually places where people,
Yeah.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're not going to keep you, so thank you.
I've got to go to work. It's very
Thank
nice
you.
talking to you.
Oh, likewise.
Good luck with All Access News. Thank you.
Something tells me I'm into something good.